Last month, we first told you about Lain's prior charge of neglect of a dependent. We obtained a 2015 Knox police report that detailed how Kenny Lain, in exchange for drugs, allowed a 20-year-old man to sexually abuse and impregnate his daughter. Tonight, she is breaking her silence, telling us what life with Lain was like and even her ideas about little Mercedes' death. We do want to warn you this story is graphic and may be triggering for sexual abuse and assault survivors. Drinking,
any alcohol,
drugs,
they got a kick off of us being, messed up.
Sex,
Multiple times.
and violence.
I've been punched in the face by Kenny.
All at 12 years old.
I just remember not ever thinking anything was going to be normal.
Paige Hodge describing the terrifying reality of living with Kenny Lain, her mother Mary Lain, and Mary's then boyfriend Cody Byrne. The situation leaving her pregnant and in a foster home at the age of 13.
Adults aren't supposed to kiss you. Adults aren't supposed to touch you. They aren't supposed to do any of that.
On Christmas Eve in 2014, Knox police opened an investigation into what was going on inside the Lain household.
I found out that I was pregnant in November.
DNA samples showed the father was 20-year-old family friend Angel Delapaz. Police say Delapaz had an agreement with Paige's parents, Kenny and Mary.
In exchange for letting him live there and letting him continue the relationship with me, he had set bills that he had to pay and set things that he had to give Kenny and Mary, which were drugs. I had voiced what happened to both Mary, Kenny, and Cody, so all three of them. Mary's kind of exact response was, "You're going to continue to do it."
Kenny was questioned about Paige's pregnancy while serving time in the Stark County Jail, saying he knew his daughter was pregnant, but claimed he didn't know who Delapaz was, or the fact that his daughter was sexually involved with an adult. Paige, however, says her parents wanted her to get an abortion after finding out she was pregnant.
I didn't want to do that. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what that would be. I already, didn't understand being pregnant.
Paige had the baby, a boy named Oakley, but they were separated when he was born. Kenny and Mary were later convicted of neglect in the Delapaz situation. Kenny sentenced to 2 years behind bars, and Mary to 18 months probation. Delapaz sentenced to an 8-year punishment, including 2 years of prison time. Paige was adopted by a new family when she was 16 and eventually got her son back. Looking back now, she believes the Indiana Department of Child Services failed her and her sisters. She says DCS should have removed them from the home much sooner.
Multiple CPS cases that were opened and then they would just get closed. My little sister got a vacuum thrown at her. It hit her in the face. She had to go to the hospital, get it glued shut and everything. But when CPS got involved, they said that they couldn't do anything because they didn't leave bruises.
Paige says her parents would lie to DCS to cover up the abuse. After the nightmare ended for Paige, she refused to contact Kenny for years, but always worried his other kids might be suffering through the same situation. Then, Mercedes went missing.
A silver alert declared for an 11-month-old Mercedes Lain.
After seeing the silver alert, Paige called Tiffany, Mercedes' mom.
This was Sunday. I called at 11:36.
She says Kenny answered and she hung up, not wanting to talk to him. But then he called back.
It seems like there's no way to avoid talking to Kenny if I want to figure out what had happened.
Paige says Kenny told her Justin Miller took Mercedes to babysit her on Thursday, August 12th. But Mercedes was supposed to be back for a birthday party the following day.
She wasn't supposed to be gone any longer than that.
The Marshall County Prosecutor's Office tells a different story. Investigators believe Mercedes went with Miller on Friday because Kenny and Tiffany could, quote, have a break. Kenny also told Paige he and Tiffany tried to find Miller and Mercedes when they didn't return as scheduled. When hit with more questions, Paige says Kenny changed the subject, asking her questions about how she was doing.
It seemed to me like he didn't care.
Paige eventually hung up. Police say it was difficult to reach Kenny and Tiffany while 11-month-old Mercedes was missing.
Took some effort to find them.
You picked up the phone, made one phone call, and were able to get a hold of him twice.
Yeah.
Despite talking to Kenny while Mercedes was missing, Paige says she was never contacted by police or the FBI. We sat down with her the day Mercedes' body was found.
I'm so mad right now, and that's probably why I haven't really been able to cry.
Court documents show Miller claims he woke up sometime on Saturday, August 14th, at a residence in Mishawaka to find Mercedes already dead. Officials saying she died of blunt force trauma.
This would have never happened if they didn't leave their child in the care of somebody who went out of their way and hurt this child.
But she says her anger isn't just with Kenny and Tiffany.
And DCS should be held to the same account.
And as court proceedings against Lain, Coburn, and Miller begin soon, the community and Paige might finally get some answers.
I see Mercedes and my son, we all look alike.
We reached out to DCS for more information on the Lain family's cases and specific statistics on the number of cases across the state. DCS says it can't comment on the Lain family due to confidentiality regulations in Indiana child fatality statutes. We also gave the agency a chance to respond to Page's claims, which many others have also expressed, that DCS fails children and leaves them in dangerous situations. The agency did not answer that question, but it did give us the statistics we asked for. Coming up, part 2 of our investigation.